After all the excitement of an Olympic sports extravaganza here in London, football has been forgotten just a little. But fear not, as the opening weekend of the new Premier League season is upon us, and it's got our guest very excited. Joining us to plough our way through the expectations for the next 9 months of football is Nigel Seeley from Bet Butler. Nigel, thanks for joining us once again. Back to the football then. Let's kick off with the obvious question. Can Man City do it again? Who are going to be champions?
I think they can do it again. I think they're the favourites to do it again. The problem is that it's been very quiet as far as the betting markets are concerned, because there hasn't been much money wagered on it because of the fact no one really knew where big players were going. Now, obviously, the news of Robin van Persie going to Manchester United will start to suddenly see some big bets coming in, because people know the aces, the cards are down in the poker hand. They're showing their hand and they're ready to go. Manchester City, I thought, were very impressive in the Community Shield. I thought they were very strong. Midfield-wise, they're very good. And they only won it by, the last kick of the game last season, but realistically they should have had it wrapped up with a month or so to go.
And having done it now, does that make it easier?
Yeah, I think the thing is here now is you've got to. I think their priority will be to have a longer run in the Champions League. So the price you are 5 to 4, etc. It's not really attracting the people, and people look at Man City winning league. They look them still down and think, they really were a little bit of the way they bottled it, really, and they have this bottle factor about them. And Manchester United, the proven thing, and now they've strengthened the side. I believe that the next 2-3 days before the kick-off, you will see some serious bets coming in for Manchester United. I know the Racing Post have tipped them up. I know a lot of people now said that Van Persie is the final piece of the jigsaw, and that 2-1 could be under pressure come kick-off time. I personally think they need a centre midfield player. Right. But I really do believe it's a two-horse race. I think Chelsea, despite spending all the money they have, I do think the question marks are still about the coach. I think he did exceptionally well to lift the group of players who are on their knees.
So Chelsea's sort of transformation still. I mean, they're bringing in lots of new players into the midfield. Is that another season of transformation, do you think? Yeah,
I think the good thing about them is that the start of the season is that they start off with some easy fixtures. So despite who they play, they should be able to beat Wigan at the weekend. And then they've got some easy fixtures. And when they get used to each other, they play the tough ones. But I personally think it's more about the manager. I don't think Roberto Martinez can last the course of the season. I just don't think.
Matteo.
Sorry, what am I saying, Matteo? Sorry, I'm going on. I think Matteo. Sorry, I think Matteo. I just don't think he can start the season. I think what he did with the Champions League was exceptional. He went in when the team was down. He lifted them up. But to do it now, and it's a different kind of pressure on him. And I'm not quite sure. I genuinely believe it's a two-runner race. But the most backed team, surprisingly, have been Liverpool.
I was going to say, so top four then. So you think Man City, Man United, top two, in whichever order, and then who gets the other Champions League places?
Well, people are saying that Tottenham haven't been the team. They're selling Modric, but I think AVB is a great manager. I think he was very disappointed what he did at Chelsea. I think he went in a very tough job. He was asked to do too much too soon, but his record was exceptional. And I think getting rid of Modric and bringing in some players, I do believe that they could break into the top four. I think they've got a great chance. I think they've same with Bale. Mm-hmm. I think they've got Adebayor, they've got goals. They probably need another striker. They've got Sigurdsson from Swansea who's coming as well, who's hired up from Swansea. Right. I think they've got the potential to break in the top four. Liverpool, I'm not so sure. I mean, they were the team last season that everybody back, every home game lost money.
And Arsenal?
Well, I think this is the tough one. I think if Arsene Wenger's performed miracles. I think Podolski will be an exceptional player. I think for coming to play 100 plus cuts with Germany will do well, but I'm not so sure. I think they could flatter to see. I think Tottenham may just finish above Arsenal this season. I know it's been the way to the poorhouse.
We've been waiting for
but
a while.
I honestly do believe the Premier League though is a two-horse race between the two Manchester clubs.
Okay, top scorer then, Van Persie.
Well, some bookmakers have made him favourite on the back of the move to Manchester United. Some bookmakers haven't. The best price you can get around is about 8-1 Van Persie here. I don't think I think he should go bigger, because I think he's going to play lesser games than Manchester United than he would play for Arsenal. So I think if he stayed at Arsenal, he had more chance to be the top goal scorer than go to Manchester United, where you're competing with Welbeck, you're competing with Hernandez, you're competing with Rooney for 2 spots. So I don't understand the logic in this move. I think, at the prices, you've got Torres there at 9-1, you've got Aguero at 7. I think Aguero is a superb player. I think he was probably, for me, the best overseas player to come into the Premier League last season. His impact he had, I think he'll get better this season. I think Podolski at 25-1, somebody scored 30 plus goals internationally for Germany at World Cups, European Championships. He's going to be the main threat, and I think you should see a reaction on someone at Arsenal going shorter rather than Van Persie going shorter.
And you've got a surprise one in here as well, Djibril Cissé.
Yeah, it's a bit of a left field quote. I think that, you know, when he stayed on the pitch for Queen's Park Rangers last season, he scored goals. His goal per game ratio was better than anyone in the second half of the season. And I expect a big season from QPR. I think they were a team that could really break in the top half of the table. I think they could push in the top 10 quite easily. I think Mark Hughes has built a side there, and the sign of Junior Hoylett from Blackburn is a fantastic signing. And I think with the quality of service he's getting, he will score goals. He's a proven goal scorer. He's scored 5 or 6 goals. He'll take penalties, I think, as well. Penalties is the key. Yeah. If you're backing top goal scorer, make sure you take someone who takes penalties. Right. I think he'll take penalties, but provided he stays on the pitch and doesn't get injured, I think he could quite easily get sort of 15 plus goals, and that will get you an each way place. And I think each way at 66 to 1, the first 3, it's a fantastic bet.
Right, let's get down to the other end of this the table. What about the promoted sides? Will they stay up?
Well, they did last year, and I think this year they've got a good chance. I think Reading have got some money. They've enforced the squad well with Pobregniak from Fulham, good signing. Good manager, very underrated manager, Brian McDermott, good manager. Southampton, again, have got money. They've enforced the side. They've got the Rodriguez from Burnley. I think those two sides have got the infrastructure to do well. They've got a good stadium, good money, and they've got I think West Ham, they're a little bit, it's 9-4 to go down. I think they have the potential, these 3 teams, to stay up. The teams that I worry about greatly are Swansea. I think Swansea, I really do worry about those. I think they've lost Rodgers, big loss. They've lost Joe Allen, they've lost Sigurdsson, they've lost key players. They haven't replaced them with top players. Other players are muted to be wanting to leave, and I think Swansea around about sort of 2 to 1-ish. Out of that group of teams, I think Swansea could definitely be relegated this season.
And who else? You mentioned West Brom.
Well, you're not going to like it. Yeah, I know it's your team, West Brom. I think they're in for a tough season. I think to get rid of
they're always in for a tough season.
Well, I think they're for a real tough season. I think losing Roy Hodgson's a massive blow. I think I keep forgetting my manager. I think Steve Clarke coming in. What I'm hearing behind the scenes is that he hasn't really taken to the style of the manager. The players there like him much. You've already seen Simon Cox go to Nottingham Forest for $2 million, which was a snip of a buy. There's other players rumoured to be going out. They start off at Liverpool at home. Liverpool always beat the West Brom at the Hawthorns, and I just think that the prices, they were as big as 6 to 1. They're now 7 to 2. They have been the best backed of the other sides. And if you're looking through other teams, I think Stoke. I think people may have just had a little bit of got used to their style of play. I think they've come accustomed to what you expect with Stoke, and I think they might struggle this season. Usually they buy 3 or 4 players to enhance the team. They've been virtually friendless in the betting market and virtually friendless in the transfer market. Final
question: flop of the season, top of the flops.
Well, there's a couple of them. I think Newcastle might struggle this year. I don't think they're going to be the team that everyone expected to do. I think they bought some great players before. I don't think the managers. I think it's very hard for them to have a second season like that. And I think Newcastle. I don't think they'll ever be able to challenge what they did last season. I think they're a team that'll be in the lower half of the season.
OK, Nigel, thank you very much indeed for that. You won't be surprised then that we'll be keeping Nigel's predictions on record to see how he does come May next year. Well, do stay with us throughout the season as we preview the big matches from the Premier League. Until then, my thanks to Nigel Seeley of Bet Butler. Be sure to follow all our programmes on Twitter at Reuters Insider. I'm Nigel Stevenson. This is Reuters.